This episode is brought to you by Muntins Malts, a company that is passionate about providing premium malts to brewers worldwide. For over a century, Muntins has been a leading supplier of brewing and distilling malts, offering the finest British malted barley on the market. You can experience the difference Muntins offers by joining a recipe receiving tier of our Trub Club, because every kit that ships out now includes premium Muntins malt. You know, we've known the Muntins crew for a long time, and I can tell you, friend, you're going to love brewing with their grains. Ask your local supply shop to carry Muntins malts, or homebrewers can join our Trub Club at homebrewhappyhour.com/club. Be a part of the community and come brew with us. Thank you, Muntins, for supporting our efforts and homebrewers worldwide. Today's show is brought to you by hopsdirect.com. Grown in the esteemed Yakima Valley on the Peterball family farm, hopsdirect.com offers the widest variety of hops available online at incredibly competitive pricing. It's simple. They grow hops, they sell hops, and they ship hops straight from their family-owned farm to your doorstep. Producing the highest quality hops is hopsdirect.com's passion, and they're proud to be an independent grower in the craft beer industry. Go to hopsdirect.com right now and get what you need to make your brew day better. That's hopsdirect.com.
Entertaining shows with content that spreads information and sparks discourse throughout the community. This is the Pearl Media Network.
Parti-Gyle Brewing, IPA Freshness, and Backsweetening Kombucha. This is Homebrew Happy Hour, episode 463. Well, hello, my friends. Welcome back to another episode of the Homebrew Happy Hour. This is the show where we supply the answers to your homebrewing questions and discuss all things related to craft beer. And if you, my friend, have a question you'd like us to discuss on a future episode, you could go to homebrewhappyhour.com. Click on that submit a question link at the top of the page. You can email joshua@homebrewhappyhour.com. But even better, why don't you call it in to 325-305-6107. I want to hear your voicemail on a future episode. It'll be great. Everyone can hear your voice. People will know that this show is real, that the audience is real, and all that. Why are you already laughing? This is not fair. Hold on a second. Let me get through the introduction. No, I'm kidding. No, I am your host, Joshua Stubbe. Today I'm joined by our good friend of the show, and not to your face, but behind your back, I call you even my good friend. It's Miss Lorena. It's Brewer Friends Best, Miss Lorena Evans. Lorena, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm great. How are you doing, Josh?
Oh, so good. There are times when we do the video call and it's beforehand, and I wish I was recording, because I was like, that would have been better if it was on the show. And I can't remanufacture the conversations we have. And actually, in fact, I shouldn't try, because it's probably better I don't record everything. The 1-star reviews will pour in for, did you hear what he said? He made fun of cancer, or whatever. I was like, yeah, you know. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. That's neither here nor there.
Well, this is a serious show, Josh.
This
serious.
My internet profile on my LinkedIn and all my things says a super serious person who takes the internet super seriously. And I mean it. I mean it. Life is too short to not be serious.
Well, we have important things to talk about, like beer.
Like beer, kombucha. I hate typecasting you, because I know, like, I tell people frequently, to your face too, so you know I'm not just lying to you, that you're literally my favorite homebrewer on the planet, and for a multitude of reasons. But like, I always typecast you into, like, oh, I have a kombucha question. I'll do that for Lorena. But like, you could, all the really complex beer questions I could throw at you too. And I do, but it's just like, I'm like, I hope she doesn't think that I only save kombucha for her, as if like,
oh, you do.
I know, right?
We know you do.
Yeah. But it is actually good timing in regards to, like, I know it's not dry January anymore, but like, we're still in that phase of people clinging to their New Year resolutions. And a lot of homebrewers have this, like, I'm going to be healthier this year. And I always think of kombucha when I think of a beverage you can make at home, still fermented, and considered at least quasi-healthy. I think it's actually considered healthy, but I don't know the FDA. I don't know what it actually is. Like,
yeah, they say for gut health especially.
Right.
And that's one of the reasons I drink it.
Same here. Yeah, I try when I have it available, which is more times than not. I try to have 8 ounces a day, like in the morning. Like I'll drink it. I'll get up if it's during the school year. Take my kids to school, have my coffee. When I get home after dropping them off, have 8 ounces of unflavored raw. I'm not drinking it because I enjoy the taste. I've gotten used to it, so I don't dislike it. But like, I fear if I start flavoring it, I'm gonna overdo kombucha, if that's even possible. So
it probably is. All things in moderation.
Yeah.
I do like to do a little blackberry juice, but one of my favorites, without adding sugar, is adding some ginger and some lemon zest, and you've got ginger ale, kind of, sort of.
A lot of people, funny you say that, because isn't kombucha like the alternative, like to get people off of soda and stuff like that? That's what people turn to kombucha for, is like getting off their sugar addiction. And let me just say this real quick. It doesn't work as good as nicotine gum for getting off the sugar. All right. So,
all right. Well, we got that straight.
That's also not, hold on, legal departments in my ear. That is not backed by the FDA. I have to say that. But I got off my sugar addiction as good as I can, thanks to nicotine gum. And this episode is brought to you.
That's so much healthier.
Yeah. This episode is brought to you by Amazon Basics nicotine gum. Always look at this. Look at what I'm drowning in nicotine gum, Lorena. It is what a life that I live. But anyway. We do have, I love too, when I have you on the show, you don't rein me in. So
I'm not Todd.
You're not. Thank God for that. You are not Todd.
I say that every day. I wake up in the morning and go, thank you, Lord. I'm not Todd.
That's the first thing I say too. Every day I wake up. You're no stranger.
You're not going to let Todd hear this, are you?
No, I'm going to send this clip to him. Absolutely. This is the clip for the week, is us both just shitting on Todd.
Bashing Todd.
Yeah. Just like, oh yeah,
Oops.
I know. It's all right. I'll put the bleep button there. It's fine.
Okay, good.
Anyways, you're no stranger, so let me get through the small talk super quick. Okay. And guys, if you go to patreon.com/homebrew happy hour, join a recipe receiving tier, you're gonna get the Hill Country Blonde. It is my homage to Fireman's 4. You're hearing it here first. For this month, we are doing a clone of the very popular Real Ale Fireman's 4. Ooh. Now, Lorena, I don't know. You've been to Texas. I don't know if you've had it, because they don't distribute outside of Texas.
I have been to Blanco and been to Real Ale.
Yeah, I assumed you had, because I remember y'all driving through the Hill Country on one of the trips.
It was a great trip.
They are, so I'll fill you in, because I haven't actually talked to you this new year on the show. For my plan, and it's going good so far-ish, every month doing a commercial clone of some craft beer across the country that sort of pioneered or was popular or shaped the landscape for the craft beer industry. So January, I went out to Shiner and I did an interview with Greg Hebner and Shiner Bock. I mean, people don't have to.
Classic.
It's a classic for craft beer. Like, people were actually giving me grief in my DMs, like, oh, you could have picked a better beer. Guys, Shiner, like, here's the thing. I'm not going to give credit to macro brews because I want to, but they're doing something to be that successful and have gazillions of gallons brewed because gazillions of people are drinking it. And Shiner is actually still craft. They're doing 6 million barrels a year. They're still independently owned, yada, yada, yada. But like, they're doing something right because people are drinking it. And so I told people, this is not to you, Shiner, because I don't equate this to them. But someone was talking about, oh, Budweiser is garbage, this or that. I was like, Budweiser's like Nickelback in regards to everybody's like, I hate them. It's the worst. Somebody's listening to Nickelback. Somebody's listening to them because they're gazillionaires too. So either way, that's not a jab at you, Shiner. I just mean though that like Real Ale is nowhere near that because they don't even distribute outside of Texas. But I wanted to share that with our Trub Club who may have not ever experienced Fireman's 4 because it really is a staple of Texas craft beer. Like it was for millennials, especially. I believe it or not, I'm 40 and I'm considered an elder millennial. That's what they call us. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's the in between Gen X and millennial, but I'm on that precipice. And my age group, when you went to a sports bar or a wing
stop or whatever at age 21 when it was legal to drink, and that we all waited till it was legal to drink.
Absolutely, of course.
There was Macro Brew, Shiner Bock, Macro Brew, Real Ales, Fireman's Four. Everywhere you went, that was the two craft beer options, was Shiner and Fireman's Four. So that's why I'm super excited to start the year off with that. So let me get back to the pitch. Patreon.com/Homebrew Happy Hour. Thank you to all of our sponsors for the premium ingredients that they are providing that get these recipes out to you guys. And again, that's going to go out at the end of this month. And then Brew Day Live is going to come up. I'm 99% sure it's to be Friday, February the 27th at 10 a.m. Central. It might be the 20th, but as of right now, it's the 27th. If I change that, you'll hear it next week. Don't worry about it. And I say you'll hear it next week. They probably won't, because I'm actually, after I record with you, I'm driving to Blanco to go record with Brad Farbstein, the owner there. So if I remember during that, which will be next week's episode, to mention when Brew Day Live will actually be, then it'll be updated. Otherwise, y'all are going to find out in real time. But anyways, Brew Day Live, friends, watch my pop and I brew this Fireman's Four clone, I think on Friday, February the 27th at 10 a.m. Central, right here at youtube.com/Homebrew Happy Hour. That's all the small talk I have. I got through it relatively quick, I think.
For us.
But I'm going to drag this segment out further, because you were telling me the beautiful Bob is right behind you. And tell us, what is Bob up to this morning?
He's chopping, and he's chopping for me. I had made a fermented coleslaw, like a Salvadorian, a cortido. Did I say that right? Curtido.
Yeah.
And it's a little spicy. It's basically a spicy fermented coleslaw. And he last week, I had made that, and he last week did oyster and fish tacos with that as one of our ingredients on our tacos. It was so good. We ran out really fast, and he's eager to get started again. So he's back there chopping for me. I just have to make the brine.
What a good guy. Can he hear me?
Of course he can.
Okay. Yeah. What a good guy.
There you go.
Bob, we got to get him on. That's what I really want. The two of y'all.
He's funnier than I am, I got to tell you.
With me too, the bar's low. Ask my wife. Like, the bar is so low.
She drink beer. I don't know anything about brewing it.
Yeah. Did you hear him?
Yeah,
he says, I just drink beer. Dude. I don't know anything about brewing it.
Yeah.
He carries heavy things for me. So he's an integral part of my brewing career. Yes.
Yeah. My wife just says, just look pretty. I'm like, huh? Okay. It's hard to do that. Yeah. You're no stranger to the show. I'm gonna get this thing going, because I've got 3 questions for you, and then I'm gonna get out of here and go to Blanco soon. But
all right,
the gong, it worked. The gong of questions. Question number 1's an email from our buddy Chris from Colorado, and he wrote, "Hey guys, love the show. I've been planning to brew a massive imperial stout for the winter, but I hate the idea of wasting all those sugars left in the grain bed after I collect the first runnings. I know this is where Parti-Gyle Brewing would come in, but honestly, the process intimidates me. How do you actually plan a recipe for 2 different beers from a single mash? Wow. Do you just brew the big beer and hope the second one turns out okay? Or is there a trick to calculating the gravity for the second batch so it doesn't just taste like a watered down grain water? Thanks for the help, Chris from Colorado." Wow. I would think, and I'll throw this out there and you'll correct it because that's why you're the pro and I'm the schmo. I would think, is your second style going to be contingent on the grain bill? Like, if you're using a bunch of roasted and chocolate malts or whatever for a stout, are you then going to turn the residual sugars into a session IPA? You know what I mean? Like, I just don't know how you plan out best planning methods for Parti-Gyle Brewing.
Well, this is a huge question, because there's a lot of pieces to this. But first of all, yes, your second beer, maybe do, I don't know, like an Irish red or a Guinness out of that, because you've got the roasted malts in there. There's a couple ways you can go with this. You can use brewing software, which is how I do it, because it's actually a mathematical thing. And it depends on your first efficiency. And of course, when you have a huge grain bill, your efficiency is going to be less. So if you typically get 82%, you might get 72%. So it's really going to be hard to actually calculate the exact runnings. So what I would do, there's a couple ways you can go here. First, take off your first runnings, check the OG. If your gravity is good to go, with whatever volume you have there. There's your big stout. Then you can batch sparge so that you can actually take the SG of those runnings too and kind of calculate, okay, well, I got 1027. I'll probably get 1035 after my boil. Okay. Other people will do what they call a reiterated mash. So if those runnings are going to be low and you know it because you've used the software in advance to kind of predict, you can throw more grain in there, maybe 2 pounds of 2-row or something just to boost that up a little bit. So there's a couple ways you can go with that. So what I would do, though, if this was me in Chris's position, I would do that big mash, draw off those runnings, check the gravity, and then estimate what is left in that grain bed. Do maybe a batch sparge. You can fly sparge and just keep checking your runnings. Fly sparge, continuous sparge, same things, which is another way to go. For my system, it's easier to batch sparge and hope for the best. Because it's once the water's in there, it's in there. But maybe go a little lighter. Maybe do a 3-gallon batch then of your lesser beer. You can always add more liquid, but you can't take it out, And I think you could get 2 really good beers. I'd probably go with a Guinness-y type for my second beer, unless it wasn't terribly roasty. It depends on what his imperial stout recipe is. Or you could even go almost Irish red and hop it with maybe Kent Goldings or something and have a really nice beer.
Or Fuggles, am I right? Or Fuggles.
Oh, you know how good Fuggles is. There's nothing like a little bit of soil taste in your beer to make it really go down good.
That's right, the earthworm stout. Yeah. I actually, you know what? I was going to say, like a Guinness type off of his Imperial, but only because I love mentioning this. How many people do not realize that Guinness is low ABV and like it doesn't, it's not a big beer. It's not a big beer at all. A lot of people, I say a lot of people. No, this is a right statement because the average person does not know that. Why would they? They like the nuances of craft beer or whatever. Because I don't think Guinness is craft, but I'm going off the BA definitions. Whatever of good beer, people don't realize. Like they hear stout and it has all these other connotations as opposed to it's just a style. Like they hear stout and I hear IPAs described as stout all the time from people, but
because it's a big beer.
Absolutely. And they're not wrong. That's why I am like, I don't correct people. Well, one, because I couldn't care less. Like I know what they're saying, but it's very much here in Texas, like Spanish speaking Mexicans don't correct you if you try to speak Spanish and you don't conjugate appropriately. Cause they're like, he's trying. And so like, that's what, if someone's trying to describe their beer to me, I'm not like, well, actually what you mean to say. No, I don't care. I know what you mean. But with Guinness, I do know a ton of people where I'll have to just very gently, they're like, no, that's too big a beer for me, man. I don't like that big stuff. It's like, actually, I think
all 4.8% or whatever, right?
Exactly. Right. Yeah. And and it's like, oh, you mean you don't like the notes of it, like, what, and that's fine, but it's definitely not because it's a big beer. Guinness is not a big beer.
But it has big flavor because of the roastiness and the dry. And when you do get the can with the widget,
oh, that's cool.
There is some real mouthfeel there that really is perceived to be a little bit bigger than it really is.
Yeah. So if you were, well, I guess let me rewind a little. Do you ever go into a brew day planning to Parti-Gyle, or is Parti-Gyle usually a reaction as opposed to being proactive, or most people reactive? I would think I would want to be proactive before going into the brew day.
That's my perception of other people's motivations. It's like part of it is, if you're like me, okay, I'm a lazy home brewer. So if I'm going to brew all day, I might as well make 2 beers for the price of 1, right? Also, this gentleman, Chris, said he did not want to waste that grain that was, still there, all those sugars that are still there. But of course, by the time you draw it off of there, by the time you lauter it and boil it, you've added quite a bit of time and money onto your day. But I think sometimes it's just the thrill of seeing what you get the second time.
Yeah. No,
but I think you have to not plan an imperial or like a Russian stout, imperial Russian stout or something, and go, I have only spent 6 hours brewing today. I sure would like to do it a little bit longer. So I think you have to be proactive and plan for it.
No, hear me out, because I hate cleaning.
Okay.
I hate cleaning so much. Just the perpetual Parti-Gyle. It's like kombucha, which we'll have a question later. It's the continuous brewing method, but for beer, where it's like, I'm never cleaning. I'm just stacking a little bit more. Could you?
Yeah, you're right.
If let's say someone is Parti-Gyle and they're not like they do their gravity reading after getting the next runnings, would you say adding some DME to boost up numbers would be right, like a straightforward solution?
Yeah, and that's kind of going back to that reiterated mashing,
yes,
where you're using the grain bill and then maybe tossing in a couple more pounds of two-row or Maris Otter or something. And really, you're safe to sparge until your pH goes way up. So, but at some point it gets to be a losing proposition. I mean, you can go down to like 1004, right? Before you have to really worry about getting a lot of excessive tannins. I don't have that kind of time or energy to boil all day then. But you can easily, from a huge grain bill like that, pull out a 1030 in your runnings and end up with a 5% beer or 4.5% beer after your boil. So I think it's worth it. I think it's fun. I think some people do it just to say they did.
That might be me, because I've thanks to our wonderful sponsors, I've never actually been price conscious, and I should, because I'm the cheapest person on the planet. But they're always so generous. All of our ingredient sponsors, where I'm like, oh, I want to repitch the yeast. No, we'll send you fresh. Oh, I'm gonna, like with Parti-Gyle Brewing, and they've been, no, we'll send you a pallet. Where I'm okay. I think that they know I'm an idiot, and so they're like, no, let's just make this simple for them. Let's just keep.
I don't know that they know that, Josh. Well, I think they just make the assumption,
or the observation. They watch the show. They watch the show.
Somebody watches this. Really?
Yeah, I have cousins. I'm half Mexican. I've got a ton of cousins.
You're related to everybody in the northern Mexico.
That's right. Yeah. I give you permission to say. People think that I got to bring my mom on the show, and it'll make it even funnier because she is so white as well. Like she is a fair-skinned Mexican. So people are gonna be like, oh, Josh has been lying this whole time. Just he's been wanting to make like pseudo racist comments, and no, I am puro Mexicano. Whenever it's September, they give us Latino or Hispanic Heritage Month. That's when I start rolling my R's. I'm like, buenos dias, señoras y señores. Vamos a Anyway, I'm digressing. I'm sorry.
I think we were talking about beer, Josh. Focus.
You mean cerveza. So anyway, yeah, today, bienvenidos. Chris, I think we covered it, and I think that this is a great question. As always, if you have feedback, friends, and you're watching at youtube.com/Homebrew Happy Hour, leave a comment below. It helps the algorithm, whether you comment something relevant or you just want to comment and compliment my new beanie. Everything is welcome on this show, and if you're not watching and you're listening, I know Spotify now takes comments, and that helps the algorithm. I don't know if Apple Podcasts do. I don't use it. Any interaction people give the show helps, I'm told, with the algorithm. And it only took me 10 years of doing the show to start begging people to interact. I will say this, though. My pop and I, on Brew Day Lives, the live stream we do once a month, we've been getting more and more engagement every month. And it makes it way more enjoyable when you're doing something live and people are there. I don't know if Brewer's Friend have y'all ever done any live content? I don't think you have.
We have a Zoom, actually, for our subscribers on our forum, we have a Zoom meeting once a month. A happy hour in the evening. And the time is early. It's like 5 Eastern, because we have international customers. So, yes, and we don't really brew anymore. We had a guy from Australia that was 8 o'clock in the morning when he'd get on. So he'd be brewing, and we'd watch him brew and make fun of him as he drank coffee and we all drank beer. But yeah, we do. The live is so much more fun. I call them my imaginary friends.
That sounds like this show. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so actually seeing my imaginary friends and knowing their lives and who they are, it's really, really cool. So, yeah.
I agree.
I have logged in a couple of times and seen you in your pop.
Oh, you should comment and say, I'm here. And then I'll say,
some people have to work on Fridays and Saturdays.
Yeah. What does that feel like? And this is a great time. I don't even think I have, I don't have a slide for it, darn it. I was going to say, oh, there it is. I do have a slide for it.
Oh,
guys,
no.
go to brewersfriend.com and use promo code Happy Hour, all one word. Save 25% off your premium membership. Brewersfriend.com no forward slash, just brewersfriend.com. Promo code Happy Hour, all one word. Get 25% off your membership. And then you also get added to the email chain. Talk about imaginary friend. You know how excited I get when I see Lorena in my inbox, but it's the newsletter for Brewer's Friend. And I'm like, oh, it's Lorena from Brewer's Friend. Oh, here's what's going on. No, I'm happy. I thought it was just like you reaching out to be like, hey, what are you up to?
Josh, I miss you, right?
How's your week going? No, it's like, here's what's happening at Brewer's Friend. But I'm actually, with Reddit and Dig and all those other sites, I'm always impressed at how niche forums are still extremely active. Y'all have a huge community there. Homebrew Talk seems to still have a good community going. It's I don't know if it's the old timers cleaning or if there's this resurgence as the younger kids go more. Going analog is the wrong analogy for this, but you know what I mean, like or metaphor rather. But they like the younger people are maybe even coming back to that kind of behavior instead of like the one and all solution of technology that Reddit is. Like, no, I like very niche, professional based type of forums for a specific topic as opposed to just going on Facebook and looking at. But anyway.
No, you're right. I think too that however you want to get there too. If you have a question, you want to talk to me on Facebook, I'll talk to you on Facebook. If you want to talk to me on a forum, but I think you're right. I think that sometimes that 7 words is not enough. You actually maybe need a little more. So something for everybody.
There really is. Absolutely. And I've said this before, I think at least once on every episode for over 10 years. It is the greatest time ever to be alive as a home brewer. We have the technology at our fingertips. And you're such a humble person when you're talking about using software to help answer Chris's question. You didn't even once name drop Brewer's Friend. This is what you do, Lorena. You
oh, yes. I'm sorry. Do not tell the site owner at Brewer's Friend that I didn't mention Brewer's Friend because I really should talk more about Brewer's Friend when I appear on your podcast and I represent Brewer's Friend. Is that better?
Yeah, that was good. In future episodes, I'm gonna not even remind you. I'm gonna have a Brewer's Friend counter in the bottom corner, and we'll see how many times we get it mentioned. And then
and then send that over.
And then I'll send that to him. Who I do not mention because we respect.
That's right.
Privacy.
We don't talk about him.
We don't talk
like Bruno.
About
we don't talk about Bruno.
Yeah, no, you've got little ones in your life. That's right. When I mention Disney movies, I'm a creep. But when a woman mentions a Disney movie, oh, she has kids. She has grandkids. Oh, yeah.
Isn't that cute?
The one time I went to Disney World, the last time I went by myself, people made me feel awkward. I was like, hey, I'm having a good time here. I'm having a great time.
You made that up. I see lonely single men at Disney World all the time.
You're right. No, you're right. You're right. You're right. We had a meetup. There. Anyways, Chris, thank you so much for submitting the question. A reminder, my friends, of course you could email your questions to me. That's like 99% of y'all this last year and a half. Joshua at homebrewhappyhour.com. It's great. People don't like hearing more times than not. People tell me I don't like the sound of my voice. I get it. Me neither. Especially now. I'm dealing with allergies still. I may be actually sick, but don't tell Brad from Real Ale that because I don't want him to cancel the meeting. I'm
I'm calling Brad right now.
Brad, he's getting you sick, man. He has super COVID or whatever they call it these days. But anyways, guys, or you could call it in to 325-305-6107. I appreciate when you leave your voicemails. Let me get that gong of questions going. It worked again. Question number 2 is another email from our buddy Raymond, and he wrote, I have a question about the lifespan of my IPAs once they hit the keg. I've always heard that fresh is best and to drink hoppy beers as soon as possible. I feel like my IPAs actually taste better after sitting in the keg for a week or two. Is there a sweet spot window for drinking IPAs? Specifically, I'm worried about missing out on peak aroma. How fast do those volatile hop oils actually fade? And is there a moment where the hop burn settles down, but the nose is still explosive? Or is it always a trade-off? Raymond was using words and stuff that he knows what he's talking about to some extent, because I never would have thought. I mean, this is all. I know this is surface level stuff, but when I read volatile hop oils, I was like, I would never have thought to say volatile. I would have just said when the good stuff goes away, like caveman style. But it is a good question.
It's a great question.
I have IPA. It was a clone of Sierra Nevada's Celebration, which is like their Christmas IPA, the hoppy, and we had it. I've had it in the fridge for over a year, and I've shared it with neighbors, and they love it. And I just had told them they didn't know the difference because they have probably never had Celebration, but I just told them it's not going to be as aromatic. It's not, just because it's been in a keg for a year, it's very smooth, but it's missing some of that more pine notes or whatever that you get from a fresh version of that beer. Right. Is there some scientific rule of thumb, like you do an IPA and you want that $5 gone by a month or you're missing out?
Yeah. I think it depends too on what kind of IPAs you're brewing. The hazies are well known to lose a lot of because they're more the juicy, the tropic. That is very, very sensitive. A lot of brewers who do a lot of hazies will put ascorbic acid in and maybe some sulfite right in the keg to keep that right there. But when I brew IPAs, I tend to go with the traditional American IPAs. And I think he's right. There is a point that after about a week in the keg, that's kind of my sweet spot too. And it'll last sometimes depending on how well it's handled. So there's a lot of caveats here. It's like, well, if you pressure transfer it and you don't secondary it and you're real careful and you add some sulfites, you can preserve it longer. But for a regular, just a rule of thumb, I think about a week or so is when it really comes together. It's that, maybe you call it a trade-off, but it's the perfect carbonation along with the melding of the flavors. And I absolutely love it then. I actually, though, have to admit, we had an IPA in the keg, maybe a year.
No way. You did?
Yeah,
you guys?
Yeah, not on purpose, okay. But it was in the keg and it was kind of in the back of the fridge forever. And, afterwards, I drank it, right? I'm not going to brew something and not drink it. It was still really, really good, but it did, of course, miss those really fresh hop notes. It kind of drank more like not quite a barley wine. It wasn't that big and that much, but more like that. Maybe I don't know, maybe like an amber ale kind of amount of hops in it. It was still good, but it was not an IPA anymore. So I think if it works for Raymond, I think that you just keep doing what you're doing. And the same with Celebration. First of all, remember, even a year old, it's probably really, really good because they package it very well. They have no oxygen when they package and things. So the beer itself is going to taste pretty good. The hop notes, some of those may be missing. Those volatile hop oils are going to disperse relatively quickly. I wouldn't be able to give you a timeline because, again, how did you handle it? Did you splash the heck out of it the whole time? Yeah, they're going to fade a lot faster. Right. Did you dry hop it for 2 weeks and then forgot about it, let it sit in the fermenter? That kind of thing. But keep those fresh notes. And remember, especially if you're kegging, you can always, use a hop bong and rehop a little bit. It's really nice when you can keg at home and do those things.
Hop bong sounds like how I tried to describe something my parents found in my room in high school. No, it's from brewing. I'm getting into brewing. No, but I wanted to rewind, and I should have clarified on the Celebration. It was a clone that my pop and I had brewed.
Oh, okay.
So we were already probably off the base anyways of what Celebration was supposed to taste like. But no, I'm kidding. It actually, funny enough, so I've been it's not funny at all. We go through beer too slow, my pop and I. So I started buying real cheap glass growlers, and to share with neighbors and friends or whatever. So like Joshua 2 years ago would punch Joshua today in the face for a number of reasons. But Joshua 2 years ago used to get upset at my pop for taking a half gallon growler with him to poker night every poker night. Big Dad, what are you doing giving our beer away? That's our beer. And now I'm like, Pop, take the gallon, take the keg, do what you got to do. We're running out of room as we brew 10 gallons every month. We're running out of space. And so that Celebration's not a style my pop and I would have consumed fast anyway. And so we replaced it off the tap at his house. and I put it in the kegerator here. And I've been sharing it. And as I've been sharing it, I tried it. And I was like, I actually like 1 year old Celebration more because it's not as, you know, like that's such a
it's
goofy.
Not as hoppy.
Yeah, it's not as hoppy. And it's so smooth where it's like this weird, more hop forward amber ale now.
Right.
Where I like it. It's like original Fat Tire with a lot more hops, but not.
That's a great description. That's exactly what we were drinking out of our year-old keg.
Yeah, right. Which is still enjoyable, but if I had submitted that to a contest, I had to change categories. Like
absolutely,
they would have gotten and been like, wait, what does the form say? What is it? What is this supposed to be? This is 18A or whatever. No, 18A is blondes, isn't it? I only know like a handful of numbers, category stuff, and I think 18A is or no, that's a sub.
They've changed. To be fair, though, since 2008, when I became a beer judge, they've changed the category numbers a couple of times. And I'm old, so you can't put new information in this brain right now.
Yeah,
English is always just going to be 8. It just is.
Yeah,
and
I'm right though. 8 right as of right now. 18A is blonde. Yeah. I think you know what Brewer's Friend
used to be 6.
Brewer's Friend is the only reason I know that. And here, like, I know I have to be transparent because so people don't think I'm smart. When I was putting,
no, don't worry about that, Josh.
hey, who are you, my mom? No, you're good. You've said much worse things to me on air, not just off air.
That's true.
I was putting in the Hill Country Blonde, which is available at patreon.com/homebrew happy hour at a recipe receiving tier. Go join today and come brew with us. I was putting that into Brewer's Friend, and it had y'all's software has for the primary category and subs and all that. And so when I was just typing it in, it filled in the blanks of what it was. And I was like, oh, it's 18A. And that was, I don't know, a couple weeks ago when I was formulating the thing. So I only have memory I'm a goldfish. I have a 2-week-old memory, and that's the last one I know. 18A is blonde. Before people write, wow, that Josh, he knows a lot. No.
I bet he's a BJCP judge.
I bet he knows what he's talking about when it comes to beer. I bet he. Oh, gosh, that could be a whole other show. Josh fools everybody.
We don't have that kind of time,
We
Josh.
don't have that kind of time. But Raymond, like Lorena was saying, and agreeing that like after you're done brewing, and if you got the patience to let it sit in the keg, a couple weeks is great. That 7 to 14 day time period, and I agree the most with what you said about carbonation. I think all my styles, a week after getting it forced carbed and in the teaser, and then drafting it, it's just like. Perfection. Because I could force carb and literally start pouring later the evening or the next day or whatever, but it's like this weird, I don't even know how to quantify it. Just the whole end user experience is so much better if you can just be a little bit patient like that.
Yeah, I know that some of us like to carb up really fast, and you put it at 30 PSI and shake that keg, and then you can pour it. But you get that carbonic acid bite that isn't as pleasant as it is a week later when it's all via equilibrium. Help me. I need another cup of coffee.
Equilibrium.
Thank you.
Yeah. See, I'm smart.
Wait. He interrupted my coffee this morning.
Right. And hold on. I need more nicotine gum for me.
Oh, get out. You do not.
Anyway. But yeah, no, it is this like you said, because Todd, he forced carbs, he'll just burst carbonate at 35 or whatever. And then he's enjoying it that night. And that's acceptable in regards to actual palatability, but it's not ideal for me, where I'm actually a huge fan now of the set and forget because I have patience. Where like I'm putting it on 11 or 12 and I'll see you in 10 days, pal. And in 10 days, it's just perfect. It's like, I can't, and my pop and I, we thankfully for the last year, all of 2025, we were just pumping out the best beer we've ever done, largely because of the ingredients and the brewing. The Grainfather G40, they don't pay me to say this. I just vouch for it because it's such a solid machine. Anybody on whatever system you're using, when you have it dialed in, best feeling in the world. Like you get your brew system dialed in, you're making good beer. It doesn't have to necessarily be the brand of the system. It's your system's methods and the process. But yeah, and then on the cold side, if you're just a little patient, chef's kiss. Audio only listeners are getting tired of my wet mouth going, this isn't an
it's getting
ASMR
old
show.
over here,
It's
too.
getting very old. I already have a wet mouth because of the allergies and the nicotine gum. But anyways, Raymond, thank you so much for submitting that question. Final reminder, guys, you could always leave an email like all 3 questions this week, or call it in to 325-305-6107 because we love hearing the sound of your voice. And with that being said, the gong of questions brings us into the third and final question for this week. Sarah from Portland wrote an email. She said, "Hey guys, I've recently upgraded my kombucha setup from bottling to a small 1-gallon mini keg system. I just got tired of bottle bombs. My question is about back sweetening. When I was bottling, I relied on fruit chunks or heavy purees to add flavor and the sugars for carbonation. Now that I'm forced carbing in a keg, how should I handle my flavoring? I'm terrified of clogging the liquid dip tube with fruit pulp. Should I be making simple syrups instead? And if I add sugar to the keg, does it dissolve well if the kombucha is already cold, or do I need to mix it warm?"
Oh, wow.
Can I throw an idea out to you that I have?
Absolutely.
And no, people, y'all can steal this. I'm full of good ideas. In fact, I'm starting a new podcast. I have this idea of just pitching ideas to my mom and hearing what she. No, mijo, that's a bad idea. But I want her to be uber Mexican on that. Ay, mijo, that's such a bad idea. But anyways, so my buddy runs a coffee shop here in town, Mochas and Javas. They've got a lot of locations. I love the guy. He's a blue belt in jiu-jitsu. Don't hold that against him. He's not very good. But he's been wanting to do kombucha. And first off, the regulatory process has kept us from actually doing it at a commercial level. But one idea I had when he was really into the concept of potentially serving kombucha was kegging it raw. And when it's time to flavor, pump it, like he has those syrup pumps for coffee flavors at the point of dispensing, or for people at home if they don't want to buy those Amaretti or Monin or whatever the brands are. If you don't want a bunch of pumps on in your kitchen, they make the like flavor packets that you put in water or whatever. I like the concept of flavoring at packaging or at dispensing for the ease of it, and so that your whole keg isn't dedicated to a flavor you may or may not want 5 gallons of, or 1 gallon. I know for kombucha, 1 gallon seems to be way more popular of a volume size, or 1 to 3 gallons for the average crunchy soccer mom making kombucha at home. That's just in Austin. I say soccer mom, crunchy granola. Subaru driving. Wait, I'm describing myself.
I know. I'm just going to point that out to you.
Yeah.
Except for the mom part.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Hey, you don't know me. But I like, for me, and I don't think it's laziness as much as I don't want to commit that entire. I do 5-gallon kegs of kombucha. Okay. I like blueberry flavoring. I don't know if I always want blueberry every morning I'm doing my 8 ounces of kombucha. Right. I may want something else. Is that a dumb idea, or do you recommend, no, dedicate a keg to a flavor? It's easier for X, Y, and Z reasons.
Yeah, I think you've got a point both ways. For me, I just as soon have a keg of, and I usually do 3-gallon kegs with kombucha. And so I might have a blackberry one. And Sarah mentioned purees. Yeah, you've got to be careful. You don't want to clog up your dip tube. And she said that she has a 1-gallon mini keg. So I'm not sure kind of what dip tube that would have. And probably a floating dip tube would not be that reasonable in a 1-gallon keg, right? I mean, because you're going to hit the bottom real quick. Yeah. But that works for me because the crud can stay on the bottom, and eventually when I pull it up, I'll stop. But yeah, a clog keg, I've done it more than once or twice or 3 times with hoppy beers especially. So I know it stinks. So what I would do though, there's a couple things that I do. First of all, I don't usually sweeten kombucha. I'm like an anti-sugar Nazi. So aside from maybe like a fruit puree with just a little bit of fruit. I tend to do things like I mentioned to Josh earlier, lemon zest and ginger. You can put that in a cloth bag or in a little hot bong or something and keep it, as long as it's stainless. You don't want to put other metal in there, or you can use cheesecloth. And that way you can get that flavor and let it sit for a while. And I really like doing that. Would I add the other question was adding sugar to the keg. Why don't you add sugar to the keg when you add the kombucha? I'm not understanding why the kombucha would be cold and then trying to add sugar to it later.
Right.
I would probably, when I transfer the kombucha out of the fermenter, unless it's been in the fridge or something, I would add the sugar then. And if you're afraid it won't dissolve, however much sugar you're adding in one keg is not going to be that much in a 1 gallon keg, I might dissolve it in a little bit of water or warm water or something if I was adding sugar at that point. I don't think I would have it cold and then try to add a cup of sugar to it. No. I don't think that would dissolve.
And I didn't reply to Sarah's email yet for more questions. This was relatively fresh. And like I told you, I don't remember if I told you while we were recording or not. I hate that I made you the kombucha lady, but you're the kombucha lady. And so when I was like, oh, Lorena's to do the show, kombucha. I wonder if the thought process was trying to avoid secondary fermentation happening in the keg.
But I'm assuming that her keg is going to be cold at this point.
No,
right. She mentioned cold kombucha.
That's what I mean. So, I think that's why she's talking about it being cold before adding sugar. Where you're saying though, if you're going to add sugar, which again is kind of antithetical to kombucha, like the premise of
the health
benefits of kombucha. But we're not judging here, Sarah. We don't judge here. We do judge here, but each other. We don't judge you guys.
And no problem with you, Sarah. It's him.
Yeah, absolutely. You're going to cold crash, like you add the sugar when you transfer and you're cold crashing, that's going to kill the fermentation process.
Or at least slow it greatly. Because with kombucha, some of those microbes in there will continue. Like I make sourdough bread and I still get some rise in the fridge. So some of those microbes will continue. But if your point is you can both carbonate and sweeten if you leave it at room temperature for a while and then put it in the fridge. But you can also just put it right in the fridge once it's mixed up, and that will stop any secondary fermentation. So you have some options there with sweetening.
Yeah, and I had someone, this isn't relevant, but I wanted to get your input since you're the kombucha lady. I wish I had the thought to put on like a fly up lower third for you that says Lorena /kombucha lady right on the screen. I don't have time for that. I gotta get to Blanco. But I did have someone ask me, I really don't like the like how harsh my kombucha gets relatively quick. Can I water the keg down? And I told the person, no, what I would do if you're going to do that is dilute it in, again, at point of pouring. Like if you have a 10-ounce glass, do 3 ounce or 4 ounce of kombucha and the rest water while you're consuming. Only because I've heard doing it in the whole batch can mess with the pH to a point of not like maybe botulism, but like where it just gets a little dicey.
Right. You need to keep that pH low. You know, the pH of vinegar is like 2.7. And so I don't suggest drinking it at 2.7 unless you like vinegar shots. But you're definitely, in the 3 range, and which is safe. Yeah. It's safe to drink by adding a lot of water. I'm assuming, you're going to keep it still in the fridge, probably be pretty safe for a long time. But yeah, so at the point of service then is where you would add water. And again, adding the flavors, like you mentioned, out of the thing, point of service, that's fine if that works for you too. There's times when I've added blueberries to the glass, and enjoyed it, kind of squished up a few fresh blueberries on there. And I was like, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. But whatever works for Sarah is and I think that if you're adding sugar for the point of making it sweeter and trying to avoid any further fermentation, just do it when you put the keg in the refrigerator. And we're not judging because you're still off the soda, right?
Yeah. And that was the whole thing I was pitching to my buddy Kevin about, like, and again, I get it having made kombucha for a while now, thanks to you mostly, years ago when you told me, you got me onto it, or at least to making it, because buying it's just a sucker's game. Yeah. But I do realize why, at least in the state of Texas, it's heavily regulated, not just the fermentation part, but like the pH, like there is a lot of things that you have to nail to keep it safe for everyone involved. I get that. It's still stupid because I could be a kombucha 100 air right now, or maybe even a low 1,000 air. But the way I pitched it to Kevin was, I thought the whole visual experience of like a soda gun, like the CM Becker event faucet, which looks like a handheld soda gun, doing high, because do you do your kombucha at like 30? Because I do mine soda.
It is for not always, but like if I bottle some, it's less. Like I bottle in plastic, and I don't like plastic that much, but I will keep it a little lower. Oh, but yeah, when I'm dispensing it at home, I want it fizzy like Coca-Cola.
Exactly. So like having
that's
that,
what I love.
Having that visual in front of someone like an old soda jerk almost, or just a jerk, but a soda jerk, and like you put the pump of blueberry or whatever, and then you do the soda gun at 35 psi, and then you get the spoon. I was like, people would dig that, man. That'd be cool. It'd be a healthy alternative to the sodas that kids, college kids, because I live right off of West Campus of Texas State University. It's a big enough area. I don't think I gave my home address away, but my social security number is.
I'll put that on Facebook.
Yeah, could you? Todd shares his personal number, and I'm surprised he hasn't gotten inappropriate pictures texted to him.
Well, why does he keep like declining my calls?
He's blocking you. Yeah, he's like, jerk. But no, I always thought the visual, like I like whatever the beverage is. I'm a sucker for presentation. And so like when people have our beer that's a little green and it's not as cleared out yet, and it tastes great, and they're like, oh, this is a good beer, it still bothers me that if we could have just waited another week, or if I would have added gelatin, which I've never done, but I could, the biofine.
Hey, I have a great idea.
What's that?
Ceramic mugs.
Oh, then even better. Then you can't. But see, that's what I'm saying, though. You're right. We bring out the ceramic when the beer is green, and then we bring out the glass when it's ready. Dude, you're brilliant. Because you
did not hire me for my looks, now did you?
I know that all I should care about is the taste of the beer, but the whole presentation of that perfect, like 2.5 fingers of foam and the clarity, and I hand that Kolsch, or lately our Japanese rice lager is so beautiful, and just the perfect pour, and I hand it to someone and it tastes great. It's like that's so. Oh, I'm a sucker for presentation. And so, anyways, Sarah, I digress so hard from your question. Yeah. But
what was your question again? Did we answer it?
Kombucha.
Did we answer it?
If we didn't answer, I dare people watching at youtube.com/Homebrew Happy Hour to leave a comment and say, Josh, you idiot, you digressed. And I'll say, thank you for helping us with the algorithm. You're a good friend of the show. And also, too, we've had a lot of people signing up at patreon.com/Homebrew Happy Hour for the free tier. This year, I'm going to be more interactive on. Right now, our Patreon's posts are usually just for the recipe kits. And people have known that. Like, they join our Patreon to support the show. But there's a free tier that Patreon added that I didn't know about, which is great. I didn't get rid of it, but now I feel more obligated to post more there because people join for free and then they message me, why'd I even join this community? You don't do anything. I'm like, well, go watch us at YouTube, or go I have a job. More on that later. But they're like, but anyway, people are joining at Patreon. Any tier helps us. We greatly appreciate it. If you want to get the recipe, you know what to do. Join it at patreon.com/Homebrew Happy Hour, one of the recipe receiving tiers. I'll just go ahead and say it now. Reminder, the Hill Country Blonde is shipping out at the end of the month. The Shiner Bot kits shipped out last week. They had to ship out this week because the winter storm messed up everything last week. They couldn't get to the office until Thursday. Todd and James and their four-wheel drive vehicles, I don't know the difference, but the UPS and FedEx didn't pick up until this Monday. Wow. Yeah, the whole week. Texas shuts. You're from the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, which is like might as well be the moon in how different it is from Texas. I mean, and like they have winters that I shudder to think about. Like
they only got like 300 inches in the snow country.
That's it.
Oh. That's why I'm in Florida.
Yeah, no kid. That's right. Yeah, again, one of the smart ones up there. But anyways, yeah, Sarah, we appreciate you writing in, guys. We appreciate y'all watching the show. Lorena, I appreciate you joining me for this week, and I will try to stop giving you such short notices.
It's okay. It's fine.
I'm going to have another, the Brewer's Friend counter, and then the Josh lying counter will come up on the screen. So when I say I'm going to stop giving you such short notice, bing, 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 bing.
I love it. I love it.
Lie. But no, my friend, I do appreciate your time and doing the show, and I hope to have you on very soon.
Thanks, Josh.
And that will do it for this episode of the Homebrew Happy Hour. If you have a question you'd like us to discuss on a future episode, of course you could go to homebrewhappyhour.com and use that submit a question link at the top of the page. But even better, why don't you call it in to 325-305-6107. Thank you to our show sponsors like Muntins Malt, premium grains for a better brew day. If you aren't already brewing with Muntins, give them a try by joining the Chub Club at a recipe receiving level. For the best hops available online, give our friends at hopsdirect.com a visit and pick up what you need for your next brew day. Also, get a pack of Imperial yeast along with premium recipes from us when you join the Chub Club. Go to patreon.com/homebrew happy hour and come brew with us. A huge thank you to every member of the Chub Club. I'm Joshua Stubing. Thanks for listening.